thing I'm going to ask at the beginning of the class, because sometimes Professor is a little forgetful there. So, and I might forget to record the class. So if anybody wants to remind me, Professor, did you hit the record button? I will gladly accept those reminders. Okay, but getting back to your speeches, the personal challenge speeches, you did a pretty good job. Most people did have those three parts of the speech. A lot of people, not a lot, some students were remiss in giving us a conclusion, a proper conclusion. So that's just something that we'll have to definitely work on that. Basic comments would be, please use the samples and templates that I give you in Blackboard. Don't use the samples in the book, okay? Or something that you got offline. And of course, we don't use AI here, right? Especially to just try to make an outline. You don't want to do that because it's not going to be like what I'm specifically asking you to do. Okay, and I'm going to be able to tell that it's an AI speech as opposed to one where a person was actually sitting in this class and got the information. So please use those templates. Use the proper system of symbolization. And I'm going to pull up the sample today when we go over the impressive person speech so you can, again, get an idea. But it's up to you, again, to open all of the modules. It's up to you to open all of the modules. Specific purpose and central idea. We're going to go over that tonight as well. For the most part, you all did kind of follow the sample. So that's a good thing. But in terms of the sample, I do want you to be mindful to use your own ideas. Don't just replace one name with another name. Okay, don't just do that. Some students even just left Molly on there, which, you know, we know if you left Molly on there, you're definitely just like copying everything. And that's not a good idea. It's there for knowledge and understanding, but not there for you to copy and paste. The other thing, if the topic is dealt with in some type of sample example, student example that I gave you, then you cannot use that for your speech. Okay? So we won't be getting any favorite teacher speeches for an impressive person speech, okay? Because the sample there is for a great teacher. Okay. Organization delivery, most people did pretty well on the delivery. Some of you were a little timid, but it's easy to talk into the camera, right? Easier than in person and having that audience give you that direct feedback. So it's coming when we're going to look at you and give you that feedback when you're delivering that speech. But posting it can give you a little less nervousness during your delivery. So the deliveries were pretty good. Also, I just wanted to let you know, for the work that you're submitting, please try to do it in a 12-point font. Like, don't make it really tiny where I can't read it. And it should be double spaced. And always include your name on your document, even though, you know, you are submitting it. Sometimes I do have to print the documents out and take them with me. And if I do that and it doesn't have your name, I might not be able to. Well, it's going to take me a while to get back to whose paper is this. So just put your name on there for me if you would, please. Again, be mindful of your camera, what's going on. Look at the video. If it's not good, then you should do it over again. Okay. But there's no editing during the video, right? No editing during the video. One other thing, the main points need to relate to your specific purpose and your central idea. So try to be mindful of that when you are using those main points. And we're going to see when you look at your comments that I gave you, and I want everybody go back to the documents that you submitted and read the comments. Because part of your grade in this semester is going to be, are you still doing the same thing on day 10 that you were doing on day 1? Right? And I'm going to grade you on how well you've improved. So most students in this class too get A's and B's in this class, if you listen to me. However, some students are very comfortable where they are, and I don't know, maybe they don't believe what I tell them, but it's very important for you to read the comments, change the things that I tell you need to change. Okay? That's very important. If you don't understand, again, I have office hours every Monday at noon. However, if that doesn't work for you, we can try to schedule or arrange a time and a date that does. Okay. That's it. That's it. So, what I want to do first tonight is open up a PowerPoint that you were supposed to look at before you came to class today. Now, I have it as a lecture, but it's also as a PowerPoint too. So you don't look at the lecture, you don't have to read anything, just listen to my wonderful voice while you can read along with me. Okay, can everybody see this slide, this PowerPoint? Let me put this down. Thumbs up, can you see? Okay, great. All right, topic, purpose, and central idea. Now, we're going over this in class. Do you think this is something very important? You betcha. It's foundational, okay, to this course. If you don't get down how to develop your specific purpose and central idea, you're going to be lost this semester. Okay, so pay close attention. And if you need to watch the video again, or just open up the lecture in Blackboard, please do so again. Because again, this is foundational to this course. Now, when we are developing our speeches, the first thing that we do is we try to understand and know what is our general purpose. Okay. Now, in a course like this, we will stay focused on 3 types of speeches: informative speeches, persuasive speeches, and speeches to entertain, which we often refer to as those special occasion speeches. All right. Now, to determine your general purpose, you need to know what type of speech you're going to do. And the rule is it always starts with the preposition to, followed by the type of speech that you're giving. So if you are giving a informative speech, your general purpose would be to inform. So first thing we're going to do now is to select our topic. What are we going to inform our audience about? What do we want to talk about? So you generate ideas by free association. There's no bad ideas, but use your common sense. Okay? Make sure that it's appropriate for the audience. that you are giving your speech to. Okay. The next thing you do is narrow down and determine your specific purpose. Now, the specific purpose always starts with the general purpose. So it would be starting with the preposition to, right? Followed by the type of speech in form, in this case. All right. And then it's followed by what you want the audience to know or think after the speech is over. Okay. To inform my audience of 3 reasons why I hate chocolate. Okay. That would be your specific purpose, how you would form it. The guidelines for specific purpose are you have to limit it to one distinct idea. Now, you'll see this a lot on the comments that I gave you because students like to use more than one idea, but you can only use one idea. Okay? It reveals the single main point of the speech. Next guideline is that specific purposes must be expressed as statements. You might ask yourself a question when you're trying to decide the topic, but your specific purpose should be a statement, not a question. You want to avoid being vague. Okay? You want to, again, always start it with an infinitive phrase. Let me move this out the way. To inform, to persuade, or to entertain. And you want to avoid figurative language in your specific purpose and also in your central ideas and main points. These are very crucial sections in the speech. So it's very important that you remember, don't use slang. Don't use any figurative language. You don't want the audience to get off track or misunderstand what it is you're trying to say. Everybody doesn't understand a lot of figurative language. You have to be careful with that. Okay, so here's an example of limiting to one idea. This example shows you 2 ideas. To persuade my audience to become dream mentors and donate to the MCC food bank. Instead, oops, instead, you want to break that up and you want to either give a speech to persuade your audience to become dream mentors, or you're going to give a speech to persuade students of 3 reasons to donate to the MCC food bank. But you can't put these ideas together. An infinitive phrase is how we express specific purposes. So if someone were to say wireless dog fence technology, that's going to be my specific purpose, it wouldn't be correct, would it? Given the guidelines we talked about. This is more of a topic. To become an infinitive phrase, we need to use the infinitive to, the type of speech in form. We always try to include our audience, all right? And then what it is we want them to know after the speech is over. How to train a dog to stay contained using wireless fence technology. must be expressed as statements, not a question. What is Prescott, Arizona's boot drop? That's not a good specific purpose. A better one would be to inform my audience about the historical evolution of Prescott, Arizona's New Year's Eve Boot Drop Festival. Number 4, avoiding figurative language. So instead of saying something like, to persuade my audience, that Netflix's user account restrictions really stink, you'd say, to persuade my audience, that Netflix's user account restrictions are short-sighted restrictions that impact potential ad revenue. And finally, avoiding vague or too technical language. To persuade my audience that something should be done about Mercer County Community College's student drop-off space. Instead, you'd like to say something that will be a little bit more inclusive and an understanding, not so vague, to persuade my audience that a safer, more convenient, and effective space for student drop-offs should be made available on campus. Excuse me. So basically, what happens when you're trying to develop your ideas, a good topic, a good specific purpose, and a good central idea, start with you, determine who is your audience, and that will help you to determine the context, which will bring you to your specific purpose and eventually your central idea. Now, central ideas and specific purposes are connected, but they are not the same thing. So your specific purpose, remember, it is expressed as an infinitive phrase. Central ideas must be expressed in full, declarative, complete sentences. Okay. And you need to incorporate the main points in that central idea. So here's an example. To inform my classmates of the benefits of participating in a semester-long internship. A central idea for a specific purpose like that might be spending a semester working for a local company or nonprofit will help you gain experience for your resume, learn about your field, and make connections with employees and potential employers. Guidelines for central ideas include they must be expressed in a complete sentence. All right. A full, possibly complex, but we're going to talk about that. Complete sentence with proper punctuation. It must be a declarative sentence, meaning you can't ask it as a question. You must avoid being too vague or too technical, just like you have to do in your specific purpose. And you need to capture the major idea of the speech. Express each main point, and when it's done correctly, you practically write the preview of the body of your speech. And finally, you want to avoid figurative language, no slang, just like in your specific purpose. An example. An example. a specific purpose that goes with I'm sorry, central idea that goes with a specific purpose might be something like to persuade my audience that a safer, more effective space for student drop-offs should be made available on campus. A central idea for a thought like that would be something like a traffic circle at the front of Mercer County Community College campus will be a safer place for student drop-offs that provide for more effective access to academic buildings on campus. And so I think you kind of get the point of our roadmap to a successful speech. All right. Again, if you have any questions about this, we can certainly talk about it in an office hour. Any questions at all? Okay. There being none, again, look at those comments that I gave you on both your working outlines for your impressive person and your personal challenge. Okay. Now, those comments that I made on that impressive person, I expect to see those changes when you submit your preparation outline, right? Remember, your speeches in this class will be done in parts. Okay. First part's the working outline. Second part's the preparation outline. Third part is the speaking outline. And finally, you deliver the full speech. Okay. The first personal challenge speech, which is an introduction to you, right? You want to make certain I mean, it didn't have a lot of requirements, so to speak, because you didn't know anything. So that basically is a baseline for where you are, right? And by day 10 of this class, week 10 rather, you're going to be nowhere near where you are today, right? You're going to be so far advanced. And most students tell me at the end of the semester, wow, I never thought that I could really do this, but now I know how to do it. And I think I could do well with this. So just pay attention and come to class. It's so important. It's only 10 classes. So it's very important that you don't miss any because each one is concentrated with lots of information for you and practice, which is one of the most important things aside from that research and delivery, that practice. Okay, practice your speech, practice, because the more you know your subject matter, the better you know it, the less you will be filled with anxiety about delivering your speech. It calms down those anxiety feelings a lot. Knowing what you're talking about, because when you know what you're talking about, you can talk, right? You can talk about it. That's why we picked the introduction speech as your first speech in this class. Okay, so we're going to get in a few groups. And what you're going to do is you are going to democratically decide who in your group will be your speaker and who will be the timekeeper and recorder. Now, whoever is the speaker probably should be the recorder, so you'll have your own notes, but the other students should also try as well. Because when you're practicing, then you can, chime in with some of your comments or municipal concerns. So you're going to decide that so that the person you select will speak for your group and deliver your specific purpose for the topics that I'm going to give you and your central idea. And together you're going to come up with what it should be. So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10 people. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, and one group of 2 for our breakout groups. And then, okay. Let's break out. So that's one group, 2 groups, and 1 of 2, 3. Oh, yeah, more people than a home. Okay, 2 groups of 3, 2 groups of 2. All right, now before I send you on your groups, I'm going to tell you what is your topic. Okay? All right, group 1 is Khadijah, Lisbeth, and Matthew. Your topic is Liberty Science Center, Jersey City, New Jersey. Okay. Liberty Science Center, Jersey City, New Jersey. Group 2, Gia, Lingen, and Veronica. How a bill gets through Congress. How a bill gets through Congress. Group 3, Nadine and Sadie. Political lobbying. Political lobbying. And group 4, Allison and Sargie. How to make pottery. Okay. All right. I'll put you in your groups. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. Any questions for me?
Professor, what are we supposed to talk about specifically for the Liberty Science Center?
That's going to be up to you. Whatever you want to tell us. What do you think you want to talk about? You're going to have to look it up for you quickly. You have to Google it if you don't know what it is.
It has a planetarium and
Yeah.
3D
and
theater.
3D theater and exhibition for animals.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, what do you think you want to tell us about that?
It's a place it's a place to visit if so you can
If you
take
want to have
your
fun, if
mhm.
you want to learn about science,
Yeah.
and you want to have an interactive experience.
Oh,
What do you think? What else? Why would you go there?
I mean,
And
the
it doesn't have
3D
to necessarily
theater,
say again, Matt.
the 3D theater, because like you could really experience like a movie like that.
Yeah, that's the interactive experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you think he could do there?
um, I don't know. I think I've been there before.
Yeah.
Liberty Science. Um,
So then you just tell us about it. Tell us what it is, what you can do there.
says it has a cafe, a gift shop.
Yeah.
So you can remember what you're going to do. You're going to develop a specific purpose, right? What are you doing? Right? Are you going to inform us, persuade us to go there, inform us that it's there and what it does? And that's it.
Probably to inform.
Yeah, you could do either.
Mm,
That what could be a speech on either one.
okay.
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 All right.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe to inform.
Are we supposed
Any questions for me?
Hi, Professor.
Hi, Professor. Hi, Professor. I do have a question. So, once we kind of have like what once we kind of answer the question and we kind of know the process, are we supposed to record a video?
No, no, no. You're going to do this in class, in person.
Oh,
The,
oh,
the practice sessions in our classrooms, they're all in our session.
okay.
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to select someone in your group to speak for the group. And they're going to tell us what is your specific purpose, right? And what is your central idea? So you probably have to quickly Google it, right?
Yeah.
And they have some steps. So that's a straight up informative speech when you're talking about the steps to something, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what's it going to start with? Your specific purpose.
Um, by purpose, do you mean like what is like the purpose of the
Specific purpose we talked about. What do you want the audience to know at the end of the speech?
um how a bill is passed through Congress and
Right.
made it to a law?
Right.
Okay.
So
Specific.
how are you going to create that first specific purpose? What's it going to say?
Like first how it's introduced into Congress
No, no,
and
no, 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 no. What that's the central idea you're going
oh,
to
okay.
tell me about. What is the specific purpose?
To inform the listener and like make them understand how the
How
bill.
a bill is made, right?
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay.
There you go. You
Okay.
got it. All right.
Okay.
Now together you guys can develop what you want to tell us in the central idea.
Okay. Um, I did research it a little bit. Um, so the central idea is the process of how a bill becomes a law in the United States is a long and complex process designed to
Hello. Questions for me?
We don't know what we need to do, Professor.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So do you know your topic?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Political lobbying.
So what you have to do, you have to Google it, right? See what is she talking, what's this topic about? And get some information about it. And then decide, do I want to persuade you to be a political lobbyist, or do I just want to tell you about what it is?
Okay.
Right?
Or inform them. Okay.
To inform you about it.
Okay.
So we never really want to say in a central idea, today I'm going to tell you what is political lobbying. Like, you don't want to say that. That's just too elementary, right?
Okay.
You want to tell us something about political lobbying. And to tell us exactly what it is, you're going to do that throughout the speech, probably more so in the introduction of exactly what it is.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a time limit?
Speech tonight. All you're doing is determining what is your specific purpose. So you have to decide, am I going to inform, persuade, right? And then what are the things you want to tell us about it? So remember, the specific purpose starts with the preposition to, followed by the type of speech, include your audience, and then what it is you want the audience to know after the speech is over.
Okay.
Okay. Also, in the central idea, right? You want to be certain that you tell us, incorporate those main points that you want to tell us about. So the central idea actually tells us what it is we're getting ready to talk about. See the difference? Mm-hmm. The specific purpose, what you want that audience to know at the end. At the end, you want them to know something. I don't know. You're going to determine it. Something about political lobbying, right? And then you're going to give us the central idea, which is going to tell us what you're getting ready to talk about.
Okay.
And we'll just be presenting the specific purpose and the central idea to the class today, not a full.
That's it. Just
Okay.
those two things.
Okay. And just to confirm, we get to decide whether we want it to be informative, persuasive, or entertaining. Okay. Perfect.
All right. Thank you. Yep.
Full clarification. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh. Hello there. How are you?
Hi.
Hello. All right. You have any questions for me at all?
Could we run our specific purpose by you just to make sure we're on the right track?
Sure.
All right, so all we have is to inform people about the steps it takes to make pottery. And I'm kind of wondering, is that enough or do I need to add like
That's
more?
fine for a
That's
specific
fine?
purpose. That's
Okay.
fine. You
Perfect.
might want to say how many steps.
How many steps? Okay, so like this. Okay. And then for our central idea, is it more so like going through the steps it takes to make pottery or okay. That's perfect.
Yes, because remember, the central idea is what you want what you're getting ready to talk about. Okay. The specific purpose is what you want the audience to know at the end of the speech, after the speech is over.
Okay.
So after the speech is over, you want everybody to know how to make pottery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be in that specific purpose there. Okay. The central idea is what you're getting ready to talk about. So you need to incorporate those main points, right? Because that's what you're getting ready to talk about. Mm-hmm. Those main points. So you would say the steps to making pottery, or first steps to making pottery are glazing the clay, firing it up, whatever those steps are, right?
Mhm.
And that's your central idea.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm. Don't forget to include your audience.
Mhm.
All right.
Wait, don't forget to what? Sorry.
Include your audience in your
Okay.
central idea. To inform what?
Wait, so
Okay.
is the to inform part going on the central idea or the specific purpose?
Um, I'm sorry, specific purpose, right?
Okay.
And include the audience.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait on 4 people. Okay, so Khadijah, we can't see your face, and Gia, your face is cut off. Remember, we want to see those beautiful faces, the whole face. And Khadijah, you're going to need to get better lighting. So when the class is over, you can try to work with that to see, but we can't really see your face that good because you have poor lighting with your camera. Okay. So you have to fix that. All right. I can't hear you. Okay. Okay, Khadijah? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
all righty. Let's start with group 4, Allison and Sarji. You had how to make pottery. So let me put you in the speaker view. Your face is cut off again, Khadijah. Okay.
Um, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
The question, I didn't hear what you said.
Did your group select you to speak for them?
No. I think Elizabeth.
Okay, yeah, I was telling you that you needed to work on your lighting because
Okay.
apparently it's not situated where we can see your face good. So it's just
Okay.
shadowy. We can't really see your face well. So you have to work on that lighting, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, so who's the speaker for group 4? Which
I am.
okay. All right, tell us what is your topic?
So a quick question. When I go to introduce the specific purpose, do you want me to be like our specific purpose is to, okay. So our topic was how to make pottery, and our specific purpose is to inform all of you about the 8 steps it takes to make pottery. And then going into our central idea, we have making pottery starts with you choose the type of clay you want to use. You're preparing your clay by kneading it, kind of just getting rid of all the air bubbles that could be in there.
Okay, now
Um,
wait a minute. Remember, this is your specific purpose, so it's not really giving.
this was my central idea.
Your central idea. It's
Mhm.
not you're going to say the steps are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Like don't elaborate on them because remember, in a real speech about this, once you start getting to the main points, that's when you elaborate on it.
Okay.
Just tell us.
All right. So I'm gonna start again. Making pottery starts by choosing the type of clay. You prepare. You second step is prepare the clay. Third step is keeping it wet and not dry. 4 is you allow it to somewhat dry and trim the parts. Fifth step is letting it completely dry. Sixth step is the first firing. The seventh step is the glazing. And the 8th step is the final glazing and final firing.
All right. Now, one important thing about a topic that has lots of main points or steps, so to speak, right? When we get to main points and we talk about it, you're going to find that you can only have 2 to 5 main points. That's all you can have. Okay. So if you have more, you have to figure out how do I put them under some other category, right? So basically what you were talking about was preparing the clay, drying the clay, firing the clay, and glazing the clay, right? And then those other things you were talking about, they could neatly fit into one of those categories. All right. Or you might even add the fifth step to say select the clay. But that kind of part, that part might be a look, you might be able to say that when you're talking about preparing the clay, right? And preparing the clay, there's a couple of things we need to do to prepare the clay. And one of them might be select. The first one would be select the clay. So you see how that's done? We generally speak in terms of 3 main points because it's right in the middle. But the rule is no less than 2, no more than 3. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Group 3. And group 3 is Nadine and Sadie.
Hello. So we had the topic of political lobbying. So sorry, I have all my notes. So political lobbying, sorry. The purpose of political lobbying is an attempt. Yeah.
Stop right there. So remember, the task is give us your specific purpose, give us your central idea.
Of the topic of political lobbying, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Now, when I was talking with you with your group, remember I was telling you, oh yeah, you would put that into your introduction when you start talking about that part of it. But we're not doing a speech, right? All we want you to do is give us your topic, your specific purpose, and a central idea for it.
Okay. So the purpose is to inform everybody of political lobbying. Political lobbying is a huge.
Okay, wait. All right. That's the specific purpose, right? You said to inform my audience about political lobbying. That's your specific purpose, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, what rule you think that violates on the guidelines we talked about today? That's a little too broad. What about political lobbying? It's a lot of information you could tell us about political lobbying. So, in a specific purpose, you want to make sure that you're not too vague or you're not too technical. So yours is just too vague, too broad. It's what about it? So, what would you say now?
Lobbying is.
Remember, your task is not to tell us what is lobbying. That's not the task. The time to tell us what is lobbying is in your introduction. All right. That's when you're going to tell us about what is lobbying. It's not a good purpose. That's not what you're doing. So you have to decide, what do you want to tell us about lobbying?
It's professionals hired by big corporations to attempt to influence lawmakers to either sway them or not sway them in a specific like legislation, bill, or law.
Okay. So that's your central idea?
I think so. I think what it is I'm getting
The reason why
confused.
you're having a problem, I could tell you, is because your specific purpose is too broad. You haven't decided what you want to tell us about it. You didn't want to tell us why, 3 reasons why it's beneficial, or 2 things that should never be done when you are a political lobbyist, or steps to becoming a political lobbyist. How do you become a political lobbyist? Or
How about different types of political lobbyists?
different types. There are 5 different types of political lobbying. They including, and then you would say what the types are.
Okay.
That could be a specific purpose. A central idea. Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Well,
So now, what will be a specific purpose? Now,
I was going to say how
central idea.
annually the U.S. spends over $4 billion a year in political lobbying.
Okay,
so it's a very
now,
large.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it's a very large, wide array of multiple companies paying political lobbyists to go out there to either persuade or
in
dissuade.
some way
Mhm.
legislatures to rule in their favor.
Correct. Yes. Okay.
To make rules, or to get rid of rules
Mhm.
that benefits their company. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Does everybody understand now what we're doing here in terms of how we develop these ideas? Remember that that one slide that talked about brainstorming. This is the path that you would take to developing your ideas that you have. Because you just start out with an idea. You start out with something that you know a little bit about, but you want to know more. Okay, that's how you pick your topic. Something that you have some interest in, you want to know more about it. Okay. You think the audience might be interested in it too, because that's important, right? So, this is the process we go through when we are developing these things. And without properly developing your specific purpose and your central idea, it's going to be a big hurdle to deliver an effective speech.
So I think I was getting confused with purpose and central idea. They were kind of sounding the same to me, trying to get points across. So, okay.
Yeah. So the specific purpose is what you want the audience to know after the speech is over. Okay. So what you want the audience to know after the speech is over, we finally decided, was what are the types of political lobbying? Okay. So you would say, to inform my audience of 4 types of political lobbying, or the 5 types of political lobbying. Right? And then your central idea would simply be, the written one, of course, would simply be the 5 types of political lobbying are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what they are. See how that goes? Now those 5 things become your 5 main points. You state those first, and then you support those claims. The supporting material, subpoints, subpoints, subpoints. We're going to talk about that as well at another time. All right, good. Thank you, group 3. Now, group 2, Gia, Lingen, and Veronica. Our last group.
So I was a speaker for the group. So our purpose was to inform listeners, the class, about how a bill is passed through Congress and made a law. Our central idea was the process of how a bill becomes a law in the United States, is a long and complex process designed to ensure careful debate, revision, and approval before a proposal becomes official law. The process of how a
Okay,
bill.
stop right there. Stop. You violating a lot of rules there. Okay. Now, the first rule you're violating is that your central idea must be expressed in a meaning one single sentence. So you cannot go on and on and on when you are expressing a central idea. One sentence.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is it that you wanted to tell us again? Tell me your purpose again.
To inform listeners about how a bill is passed through Congress.
Okay. Okay. Or more specifically, the steps, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
The steps
yeah,
necessary to get a bill through Congress. Now, you also gave us another idea. You said, and to make it turn into law or something like that, right?
Yeah, because at the end it's turned into a law.
Okay, so your specific purpose can only have one distinct idea. All right.
Okay.
So it's just how you get the bill through Congress.
Okay.
It's inherent in that. Okay, making it law and all. I mean, it has to be signed then by the president, right? Well, it goes again through both houses, and then if they pass there, then it goes to the president. So be mindful. One idea in the specific purpose. Now, if you wanted to tell us the steps, you were basically telling us what is. Okay, what is this? What is it? As opposed to what are the steps, right?
Okay.
So you want to narrow that down to say, okay, it's introduced in the House or in the Senate, and from there, okay, that's the way you want to do it, as opposed to just reading some abstract information or definition of legislating legislation.
Yeah, the three main steps, they were like part of my notes. I didn't know.
Okay, that's what we want to see in that central idea.
Okay. So yeah,
And
there's
to say it just like you said it, the three main steps.
Okay. So do you want me to like read the rest of my notes? Okay. So the first step of how a bill becomes.
No. Give me the central idea. Now you're giving me your first main point. The first step is that's your first main point.
Okay.
But your central idea is going to have all those main points together.
So do you want me to revise it?
To start out to say the three main points or three main, tell us again. Steps, rather. The three main steps.
The three main steps of how a bill is passed through Congress
are
a member of Congress introduces the bill, then there's meetings that are passed through two separate chambers that decide whether the bill is going to be pushed to the third step, where the president decides if the bill is made into a law or vetoed.
There you go.
Okay.
See? It's not that bad, is it?
Okay, yeah.
Once you go through it.
Yeah.
So now you see, pull out out the most important things that you want to say and get rid of all that fluff.
Okay.
Because all that fluff, that goes in as your supporting material.
Okay.
All that other stuff is how you explain. So now your first main point is going to be the first main, you could say it, you don't have to say it, okay? The first step in getting a bill through Congress is a member needs to introduce it.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, you'll give us like some sub points of how that's done.
Okay.
But the main point of it is it has to be introduced.
Okay.
It has to go through both houses, and then it goes to the president.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Everybody getting a clearer picture now of how we narrow down these ideas. We'll start off with something really abstract, a topic, an idea maybe, and then slowly develop it into something meaningful for your audience to enjoy. Right? Okay. Now, again, don't forget, go back and look at that personal challenge speech, see what I told you about it. Go back and look at that working outline on your impressive person, see what I told you about that. And now when it's time for you to do your preparation outline, you'll know, you'll have a better guide as to what I'm looking for in your speech, right? Okay, good. Okay, let's talk just a little bit about your impressive person speech. Can you see your class now? Yes? Okay. Okay, here's that lecture I was talking about. Remember I was telling you? You can go back again and just look at the lecture. Here it is again, just as a PowerPoint. Okay, so next week, you are going to deliver in the class just your introduction of your impressive person speech. Okay, just the introduction part. And that introduction part is going to include your attention getter at first, reveal the topic, state the central idea, include the statement of establishing credibility and goodwill, and finally, previewing the main points of the speech, okay? Your impressive person speech is basically an informative speech without any research, okay? You know this person already. You don't really have to do any research with it. Now, when we do our next speech after impressive person speech, our informative speech, that's where we're going to start really pulling out the research. Okay. But for now, and again, we're taking these baby steps. Remember, I told you, start off on training wheels, right? And eventually we're going to take you off. We're going to wean you off. But right now, we're still on them. We're just taking our hands off for a little bit, put them back on. All right. So these impressive person speeches, of course, needs to have the introduction, a few main points in the body, and a conclusion. Now, we already did the working outline, so you have some ideas, and I gave you the direction to go in with those ideas. So let's now look at a working outline. Okay, can everybody see this screen? I made it a little bigger. Oh, that's not the right one. I'll get this thing wrong. Oh, feet close. Boy, oh boy, okay. Okay. In week 3 module, oh my goodness. Okay. I'm thinking that I got rid of you. Okay. Getting that one. The person's speech. Okay, can you see the impressive person's speech now? You have to get too fancy and make it big. All right. This is your sample impressive person speech. Open it up, look at it. It's important for you to see how we go from the written central idea to the spoken. Now, in your working outline, it told you, what do you think you learned from this? Which is how you can create the spoken central idea. Okay. Now, you don't have to use a spoken central idea. You can just use the written one and it will work just fine if you can't really develop it in a way that's meaningful. Okay. So you could use either one, but I saw where a lot of you were getting way off track with that, what you learned, because the central idea has to be expressed in only one sentence. So you can't say all of that stuff. Okay, you just have to get to the crux of what it is you're really trying to say. So you see here, we talk about the teacher positively influencing the life or being a impressive person because she's passionate, she's determined, and she makes sure to familiarize herself with all of her students. And I turned that into a spoken central idea of the best teachers possess positive qualities that can inspire a student's hopes and dreams for a lifetime. You see how that relates to that written idea, the spoken central idea. See how that relates? You need to make sure that it relates. And if you can't do it, just use that spoken one where you literally incorporate the main points. When you develop this central idea written like this, it helps you to identify those main points you're going to talk about. So then you'll be able to put them into the proper order of organization when you develop your introduction. So we start off, remember I told you you had to have those 5 things. The attention getter is first. So you'll see in the comments that I gave you, wait to reveal your topic or your central idea. You want to wait for that. You don't want to start off, hi, my name's Rhonda, and today I'm going to tell you how pottery's made. You don't want to start off like that. You're not grabbing the audience's attention. Now, in this week's module, week 3, there's a list of attention-getting devices. Open that up, look at it, ask questions, you can tell a joke, you can give a short narrative. There's lots of things that you can do to gain your audience's attention. So that's the first thing you want to do. And here we say role models come in various types of people. Okay? You're gaining their attention, but you're not telling them exactly what you're talking about. Whether they're celebrities, athletes, or family members, everyone has someone whom they look up to. Okay? That's revealing the topic and relating it to the audience. That's what you have to do in that section. Next thing you do is you express your central idea. So again, it's repeated. Now, a lot of students leave that out because they feel, oh, I put it outside of the system of symbolization. I don't need to put it here. Yes, you do. Okay. And then the next thing you're going to do is establish credibility and goodwill. Why should we believe you? Why should we listen to you? Who are you? What have you done? Here's where you're going to sell your credibility. You're going to let your students know how much research you did, how long you spent on this, how many people you interviewed. Okay. Or in a speech like this, how long you've known Mrs. Radicio. Recencio. How long you've known her. Okay. You were in so many of her classes. Lots of your friends have her. They feel the same way. You interviewed them. They talk to you. You talk to them about it. So it appears that you know what you're talking about, right? And after you establish your credibility, then you reveal those main points. Okay. So take a look at the preparation outline. And now here's what you need, which is the template. This shows you the system of symbolization and indentation that's required for your outlines. It's just not willy-nilly. Okay. It has a structure, and this is the structure, and this is what you're going to use as your template for how you develop the ideas and submit them to me. It needs to look like this. Okay. And it tells you in green what each section does. So you have a better understanding. Now, here's one thing you need to understand about the template. Because I wanted to put this on one page, you will see only one subpoint, one sub-point, and one sub-point. Okay? Because I can't fit it all on one page if I put more. Your speech should probably not look like this, right? Because it's going to depend on the ideas that you're sharing with us, not to specifically look like this with just one subpoint, one sub, okay? You got that? This is important because students think, oh, this template, I'm going to do it just like this. Well, you have more ideas than that. And this is just a template, a guide. All right? Everybody got that? It's very important for you to understand that. Any questions at all? So next week, we're delivering just this part of your impressive person speech. So don't you think you need to probably work on a lot of your speech so that you'll know what your central idea is, right? You got to get those main points. Now, you might not be able to describe them or elaborate them and give, lots of supporting material for it, but don't worry about that. That's not what you need to do next week. This speech, I believe, is not due. Well, the preparation outline is due on 3/6, but the speech itself should be posted in Blackboard on March the 13th. Okay, so you have a little time, but not too much. And one thing I didn't tell you last week about these deadlines, right? Don't wait till the deadline day to try to do an assignment. It's not going to work out well for you. Okay? The deadline date is there because that's the last day you can submit it. But I do think I told you last week that you need to start early and get ahead, right? So try to work on your assignments days before it's due, or maybe even sometime a week before it's due, so that you have enough time to make changes if you have to. You're not waiting till the deadline. Oh, now something's wrong. You can't get it in. The deadline's passed. Now your assignment's late. Okay. So just be mindful of that. And don't just only go, I did tell you this last week, don't just only go to the calendar to get your assignments. Because like we saw today, there could be a module that's nothing for you to submit as an assignment, but it has instructions in there for what you need to do. So no questions? All right. If you think of any, you certainly can email me and ask me, but take a try at it and then we'll see how it goes. Next week, remember, you're just giving the introduction. Okay? You're just hitting on those 5 points that are, those 5 sections that are required in the introduction. And each student will deliver that next week. And that's it. Now, I know somebody might come and try to do the whole speech, right? Just the introduction next week. All right. Any other questions? Yes, Lincoln.
Hi, Professor. I have a quick question about the next week, the introduction, and how long the introduction?
Okay. So typically your introduction should be about 10% of the time spent. So this speech is supposed to be what, 4 to 5 minutes? Something like that. So I want to spend more than like 50 seconds or a minute, 45 seconds or a minute on the introduction and on the conclusion, right? So if you got 5 minutes, 1 minute introduction, 1 minute on the conclusion, and then 1 minute each main point, 3 minutes on the body, right? So you figure it out in that way. You don't want to spend a lot of time on your introduction and your conclusion. The most amount of time should be spent on your body. That is the longest and most important part of your speech, because that's where the ideas are developed. Okay. Some other tips quickly I can tell you for see, you don't want to be rambling and meandering, okay? Just going on and not really saying anything. You need to be mindful to get to the point of what you want to talk about, right? You don't really need to say the specific purpose, right, in your speech. You're going to say your central idea. The specific purpose is there to show me and to help you to develop the central idea, right? And to show me that you know what you're doing. You don't want to use any inappropriate or irrelevant humor, right? Or references. Be mindful of all of those delivery techniques I told you about and vocal variety, and practice it before you come to class, right? Okay, so you can, again, take a look at the sample of the student, and you can see it's not going to take you that long to say those 5 things, right? Yes, Allison.
So when we go to present, are we just reading off of the template, or can we like add a couple words in here and there, or?
Okay, so usually the template should have all the words that you want, but you know, when you're delivering, you're probably not going to say every single word. So you're going to create a speaking outline, and that's what you're going to be speaking from. So when you say the word, oh, should I read from it? I get a little cringe because you don't want to read to us, right? Because now you're like talking at us instead of engaging in a speech where, you know, the audience is inclusive. So just be mindful of that.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? And I'll give you a grade, but remember it's practice. So I'm just going to be looking for if you have all the 5 sections correct. And of course, your delivery. So practice. I'm telling you, it's like night and day when you practice. The difference between night and day when you practice. If you don't practice, then it's going to show. When you're speaking, it's going to show. And then your credibility is going to go like this. All right. And you don't want that. And you may know exactly what you're talking about, but practice. Okay. That's all I have for you tonight. Everybody be safe. And I will see you next week.
Thank you, Professor. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good night.
Yes. Khadijah, could you stay back for a minute, please?
Thank you, Professor. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Okay.
Stop this recording.